All right, Brett Okamoto here with UFC bantamweight Cody Garbrandt, who has made his way home after a pretty long time away from it, man. I mean, you were out there in New Jersey working with Mark Henry, and we spoke a few weeks ago, and you were saying how great it was going. It was one of the best decisions you made. You were excited to show everybody the improvements that you made, and even before all of this stuff with the virus hit, I mean, the rug got kind of pulled out from under you. Just tell people sort of, what's happened to you over the last few weeks.
Yeah, last few weeks have been, crazy. I think we're all kind of in a crazy time of the period of life that we're living, with this virus going on. I was recently in the hospital with a kidney infection that stemmed from cellulitis or a staph infection that happened in my shin. Months prior that I was hospitalized for prior to, the kidney infection coming on. So I was in and out of the hospital for the past 2 months trying to, get healthy, get back to training, get treated for what I thought was a staph or a cellulitis in my shin, but I had no, infection, any cuts, any open wounds. So it was kind of like it was bizarre how it just kind of came along from kicking and just training hard. It was just maybe my body was wore down. It was 3.5 weeks from the fight. And then I got healthy from that. I was on antibiotics for about 10 days. And then about 3.5 weeks later, I was, training hard, ramping it up. Like me and Coach Henry was catching our groove and just was feeling great. And then woke up one morning with my other side of my lymph nodes all swollen up. I was like, I went and worked out with Coach. And then after that, I kind of just felt super drained. I had to go do an eye exam and stuff. So I was like, I had to force myself to go there for the medicals. And I woke up the next day and I was like, man, I couldn't walk. Like my lymph nodes were so swollen. It was like hurting to walk. I was supposed to go spar and Coach was calling me. And I was like, hey, Coach, I ended up going to the hospital because I was just felt like I had like a flu-like symptoms, got weak, hot, cold chills. Same thing that happened weeks prior when I had the staph that was treated for staph. And I was like, oh man, this is not good. So I went to the hospital, did all kinds of, I was there for about 6 or 7 hours. I mean, I got blood work drawn, I got ultrasounds, I did everything. Then this doctor came back with a list of surgeons and told me, call these surgeons. You'll possibly have to get your lymph nodes removed. He's like, you're good to go. And I was like, oh, that's strange. I feel horrible to be able to just be left out. Nothing was wrong. I was like, man, I'm just wore down. I had a hard camp and training my ass off. Really excited to go out there and just, showcase my skills and hard work. So I was like, all right, went home, started driving home. Like 20 minutes into the drive, just kind of felt like that, kind of this run down, like exhausted feeling, like dizzy, short of breath. And I was like, oh man, this is not good. As soon as I get home, my urine starts to get dark every time I use the restroom until finally it was almost straight red, like fruit punch blood. And I was like, oh man, like this isn't good. But they already went to the hospital. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna rest. I'm just gonna sleep it off, and hopefully it'll be okay in the morning. I stayed hydrated. It was the flu as much as I could. I had no appetite, so I really couldn't eat. And then the next day, I woke up, lymph nodes in my throat were swollen like 50 pea sizes, like just huge. And I was like, hard to swallow. So I went back to the hospital, and the same receptionists were there and like, you're back. And I was like, man, I feel worse. No, I feel worse than I did yesterday. And then I went in there and did a urine sample, and it was like straight blood. There was no clotting, thankfully. No, it wasn't past the kidney stones, but they admitted me right then, got me hooked up to some IVs, started dripping the penicillin in me every 6 hours. Then I was admitted, for almost 6 days, and I was in quarantine for like 3 of those days. And the funny thing is, man, Coach Mark he's a blessing. He's so great. He kept coming. He's like, I'm going to bring you in. You need a laptop. You need a computer. And at that point, I was so sick. Like I wasn't even eating. Like they would come in and like every couple hours and draw blood. Different doctors and surgeons and specialists went in different labs pooled. So I was just like laid in like fetal position. I was giving them my other arm, like blood work. And they had me in quarantine. So I was like, keeping Coach and my wife and, the close ones to me, what was going on. As much as I knew what they were telling me, they just kept coming back. Like, my creatinine levels in my kidney were higher than, abnormally high. I had protein in my urine. So they were trying to like, just kind of like process elimination, what's going on. I had just a lot of doctors coming in, out, nurses, or like I said, surgeon specialists. So it was a trying time, but Coach Henry, and after I was out of the quarantine day, I think like day 3 I was in there, started feeling somewhat better, like to where I can get up on my own and use the restroom. Like literally, I was so weak and like I had an infection took over my body that I had to like have the nurse hold the urine cup to piss out. It's kind of I couldn't even make it to the bed or to the bathroom. I was just that. I think it was just a combination of just training so hard and that staph just taking over my body. And then it got the infection to my kidney. And but they were super concerned with, you know, obviously the virus that was going on in New York and Jersey were hit really hard with it in the beginning. And yeah, so that's what it was. And I was released. And I saw the specialist in the clinic. 2 days later, did more lab results, waited for that, and then it came with this. You know, basically doesn't want us to do a biopsy right now. So I have a kidney specialist out here in Sacramento that I'm seeing, that I'm monitoring kidney function. So I'm getting blood work, urine samples, just to keep an eye on it. But, you know, I feel light years better. Like I feel so much better. I'm able to work out again. It's been, you know, just pushing my body just to get back to it. I rested, you know, for 2.5 weeks, you know, and it was kind of going stir crazy for being in the best shape of my life, get ready to, you know, go do battle. So, so I'm just thankful that I'm home with my family, and I'm here. I'm able to train, and you know, just kind of weathering the storm like everybody is, waiting for this lockdown to be over with, and hopefully we can resume our lives. And just praying for everyone that's affected by it, you know, financially, you know, as well as, you know, if anyone's, you know, family members or friends have contracted the virus. But yeah, just praying for everybody, man.
Well, obviously, it's great news that you know, you were able to get it looked at the Cleveland Clinic, and now you're seeing a specialist in Sacramento. It seems like, you know, they're pretty comfortable that it was related to what was going on with you in the very beginning. But you know, I got to ask, the only like follow-up question I would have related to your condition is, anytime you hear about kidney issues, you start thinking about like you cut weight. You know, like how is there any concern that like what's going on could like rear up or impact you when you're trying to cut weight for a fight?
Yeah, you know what? I never really cut weight even to 35. I'm looking at going to 25. You know, that's what I want to go do. I'm young. I can do it. Like I walk around 145 pounds. You know, I think I got down to sometimes after sparring sessions 42, 43. You know, I'm still strong, fast for my weight. I can keep that at 25. So that's a plan. That's cool. Me and Ali have been we spoke about doing this. You know, first we were focused on Rafael, and that's still the fight to make, and the fight to fight next, and then, you know, go down and really save the flyweight division. You know, Henry wanted to leave, and he's up at 35. So, you know, I'll go down to 25 and just, you know, resume there. And they got a lot of talent there, and I can bounce back and forth. You know, as I'm, you know, my career unfolds as I get older, you know, maybe packing a little bit of the weight. But yeah, 25 is looking in my future flyweight. But, you know, I have an unfinished business at bantamweight, and we'll kind of see how it goes. You know, we're kind of all in like a limbo stage right now. What's going to go on, when we're going to fight again. For me, I'm healthy now. I'm back to training, and I just invested a whole fight camp into myself. I put 10 weeks in out there and here in Sacramento. I started a camp here, and then I came halfway through, and then I went back. So I was traveling a little bit back and forth in between camps, or in between states. So I invested. I'm good to go. You know, I'm ready once we're able to get back to the training. Hopefully, you know, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, you know, Dana, Ali, they put us on a card, and, you know, but I'm excited to get back to fight. But I think it's the first we just got to heal the world. You know, that's something that we're all kind of just waiting. Everybody, I mean, everybody's affected by this. You know, it's a crazy time we're living in, man.
Well, dude, I got to be honest. The 125 thing is kind of interesting to me. And normally, I mean, myself and I think other media members, it seems like the trend is going towards like, hey, cut less weight, you know, be healthy and cut less weight and go into the octagon feeling, you know, at your best. But in your situation, if you're not cutting a ton to 135, why put it off? I mean, what's a fight against Rafael Assunção do? As you know, you're on a 3-fight losing streak. Sometimes you go down to another weight class, you win one fight, and all of a sudden a title opportunity is right there. Whereas in your situation here, you're probably looking at having to win a few more fights. So why even
Bro, I don't know. I don't know. Look at Henry. Henry's calling out people, or he's fighting people that's coming off a loss. So I might as well just keep losing. I'm gonna get a title shot, you know. But you know, no, you know, he's calling out Jose, you know, got beat by Marlon. He's fighting Marlon. I don't get it. And he's calling out Dominic Cruz, who no one's seen him since I whooped his ass. You know what I mean? A lot of respect for him, but what you calling out guy? I mean, I get it. He wants the guy that's going to move the needle. You know what I mean? I'm one fight away. I'm the biggest draw in the division, no matter what division, man, the flyweight or bantamweight, and that's just rightfully speaking. So I would love to be able to go down and balance the 25 and the 35. I mean, I've always wanted to do that. I'm healthy now. My focus is, leaving where I was at, getting out of your comfortable zone that you go into, away from my family, away from just everything has just put me has made me fall in love with the sport. There's a lot of things that I hate about fighting, and I've always hated about fighting. There's a lot of things I love about fighting too. It's a love-hate relationship, and it's always has been. I think you have to love something or hate something so much that it drives you to be the best at it, and so this is just another thing that I'm just overcoming, this injury or infection that I got that sidelined me. But, looking back, like the fight wasn't happening anyways, but looking back and taking into what I just invested into myself. And I'm ready to go out either weight, flyweight, bantamweight. I'm just excited to just get back in there. I have the passion for it again. I have the love for it. The focus is just unreal. And that's one thing that was I just didn't have the love for it, man. Like I would just go in there, like, yeah, I love to train, I love to work hard. That's a given. That's just that's in my DNA. I was bred to fight, but sometimes you just you have to just switch it up, get out of your comfort zone, and just going to Jersey and doing that. Just has done that for me, and that's what I was hoping for. I didn't go any expectations of like with Coach Mark or Frankie or Coach Ricardo or Eddie. It is guys. I didn't any expectation because they're the greatest. The reputation speaks for itself. It was what I was going to get out of myself being there, and it was everything and more. A lot of stuff that we worked on with Coach Henry, I've never done in my entire career. Never done it any time. He is so obsessive and particular on the finer details, making you a better fighter, a smarter fighter, a more calculated fighter. I just went in there. I never really had a game plan. I just went in there and fought, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Now I know that everyone wants to speak about fight IQ and this and that. Now I understand why they speak about that and do that. I'm a faster athlete. I hit hard. I'm just a better fighter than these guys, so I don't have to go in there and bring them down, go down to their level and slugfest. I can, do what I did to Dominic each time. I don't have to go out there and do a banger. I can go out there and pick them apart, get them hurt, and then take them out. So just getting that reprogrammed into my, mentality has been like, I think the biggest key factor with Coach Henry and training out there and just being under his guidance. And obviously Ricardo Almeida is amazing jiu-jitsu coach as well. I really meshed really well with him and his style. And obviously, where Frank and I are going up to Rutgers and wrestling with the Rutgers and the New Jersey training center. So it's been great. Then I get to come out here and I have 30 to 40 guys to spar with, to work with, to move with, so it's just the best of both worlds. And I'm just grateful I have both gyms, and we're all understanding of what's going on in my career and what I needed to do to make that transition. Because man, I just wasn't happy, and I wasn't happy with the team or how it was going. I was just happy with myself. You know what I mean? I had to go out and just kind of like almost find yourself again. To be honest, like, I go back to the movie, The Vision Quest. It's like, what's your vision quest? I didn't have a vision. So what quest was I on? Just to go in there and log in rounds and fight these dudes for free, to go in there and then go to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to train. I'm excited to fight. I have a goal each day of training is to get better, not just go in there. I put the work in, clock out. No, I'm becoming a better martial artist, and I'm breaking it down in the simplest form. Fighting is pure, primal instinct. It's hit someone and not get hit. That's as simple as fighting. So that's how fighting. And now you have codes and setups and pull and just different things you add into it. So it's and it makes it more complex. But if you break down the simplest form, it's hit the guy in front of you and don't get hit. It's basically play a game of tag. And I'm good at tag. I'm good at that.
Yeah, and I remember one of the things that you told me that was really cool when we spoke a couple weeks ago that parallel of like how you followed Lance Palmer out to Sacramento, and then Lance had gone over and started working with Mark Henry, and you were actually living in Lance's house by yourself, spending a lot of time like in isolation, like basically quarantining early before all this stuff happened, just focused on your fight, which is pretty cool. But I do want to say that some people were giving you criticism, you know, for what they felt like was switching camps, you know, because of course, famously, that's what you gave TJ a hard time about. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to say what was the difference there between what TJ did and what you did.
It was a huge difference. You know, obviously, TJ, the way he went about it was behind everyone's back, lied to everybody, lied to me when I stuck up for him against Conor on The Ultimate Fighter. I almost got kicked out of the UFC from Lorenzo and Dana when I questioned TJ face to face, like, hey, is he leaving the team? What's going on? We didn't care. He had Dwayne. He was going with Dwayne, using Dwayne, like splitting camps, but he was trying to recruit people to go out to Colorado and train and basically leave the team. I'm not doing that. I said, hey, look, this is for me. Like I truly believe in the team alpha male system. I really do. I think it's great. It's when it's structured and everyone's, you know, when you cut the cancer off of it, it's good. You know what I mean? It's a tight knit family out there. It truly is. So families go through arguments and things that just work their way, and it always works its way out. But for me, it was completely different. I wanted for me to finally find that passion again. I needed to get away from just the mundane, get out of my comfort zone. I was too comfortable. And that's one thing. Like I needed to get out there and go on my own, seclude myself, you know, in New Jersey in the dead of freaking winter. Who wants to leave Cali for Jersey? You know what I mean? In the winter. Who wants to do that? Nobody. You know what I mean? But I knew I had to do this and wanted to do this and wanted the work. I've heard so much about Coach Mark that I wanted that leadership role. I love Chris. I love Daniel. I love Malat and Faber. I love those guys. It's a co-op. We all train together. But to have Coach Mark, who is, you know, literally been brought up with Frankie since 13, 14 years they've been together. And I got to watch them. Because that's my son.
He wants some energy right now, huh?
Oh yeah, he wrestles me all day. Like I literally come up to the gym, wants to wrestle, fight me. It's great. But I was able to watch a pad session with Coach Mark and Frankie, and I was just blown away because you could tell these guys are just so in sync. And that's how me and my uncle are. But Coach Mark also develops a different pose, just a whole different level of knowledge to the striking game and the setups and just the codes and everything. Never had anything like this. And to be able to watch it, I was like, wow, that's flipping amazing. Just little things. And me and Frank fight a lot similar. We have a lot really similar styles of fighting. So, and you know, working with them and just seeing like them guys work, I was just blown away. And I was like, wow, man, just believe in it and do it. You know, because it was the first couple of weeks how we were working. It was hard, the codes, remembering them. You know, it was basically studying. You know, so I would take the script home of all my codes and my names that stood for combos and would just write them out. You know, I felt like I was back in school. I would just, you know, write them out, shadow box them, you know, do little things, and just each week you saw improvement. And you know, I was always in contact with Uriah and those guys. And Holdsworth flew out there actually the day that I went to the hospital. You know, I had to send him back because I was admitted to the hospital. We were getting ready to get a week worth of the coaches and get game plan because Chris is, you know, still in my corner. You know, I got Ricardo, Chris, and Mark was going to be in my corner. So I still am team off male, still here. It just totally went about it differently. And obviously it was blown out of proportion with the media and just everything. And, you know, maybe we did our parts, there are parts, but the same thing is that he lied about it. You know, I went to Uriah and I was like, look, man, this is what I need, you know. And I haven't spoke to the team before leaving. I was like, I truly believe in this system. 2016, I was all in and was able to make it. Now I'm again, and like, you know, injuries and little things that you want to speak on and things that happen. You know, just life itself tends to try to hold you back. So I need to step back, step away, and really find that passion again for it. But I truly believe in Team Alpha Male, and I think it's a great. I think got great things going on. I'm happy to be able to have both are cool with me coming, splitting camps there. I mean, they know I have my family here. I can't be there full time. This is the first time I was away from my son for nearly 2 months. I missed his second birthday, and then obviously being stuck in the hospital overextended my stay from him. Yeah, ironically, I flew home the day that I was supposed to fly to Ohio for the fight. So it's just weird how the universe works, and I just truly believe that there's a reason why all this happened, and God only knows why. And he's going to figure it out. Faith over fear always. And that's it on the TJ situation. I mean, it's been so many years, and we've had our, he's bested me. I'm 0-2 against the guy, and I truly believe when he comes back from this suspension from his illegal substance use, that we'll run it back. There's karma coming, and I'm excited for it. But right now, I'm just focusing on myself, getting healthy, staying the course, staying just focused, spend this time with my family as much as I can because I was gone for so long. I know I'm about to, once Dana calls up and say, hey, we're back in business, we're going back to Jersey and we're going back to work here in California as a team as a whole. And my goal is to become a world champion again, become a 2-time. And that's all I have. I have that vision quest, and that's what I need. People can say what they want to say about it, but we ultimately know the truth. I can look at myself in the mirror and know that I've done the right thing. I have kept my word, kept, in between the cahoots of Alpha Male and with Coach Mark. We spoke together. Uriah and Mark spoke together. So it's all good. You know what I mean? That's that. But I'm just focused on myself and just ready to get back to the grind.
Yeah, and what you were saying makes sense to me, because even if you're coming from a good camp, I mean, you could be part of like the best job in the world, but if it's the same thing over and over again, like, yeah, you having just a change in scenery makes sense, but especially the change of scenery that you had, like, because of what you were saying, that Mark is so cerebral about it, and he writes out all these combination names, like, it's just a way to really engage your mind a lot, I would think. And so I know a lot of people were excited to see, what that looked like with you working with Mark, and we'll see it soon enough. We just aren't able to see it on March 28th. I mean, one question that I wanted to ask you, and I know that you kind of spoke on this before, but it has always like it has kind of been something to me where I've kind of wondered to myself personally how I would feel about it. And that is, when you fought TJ the first time, like, you were really on the cusp of being one of the biggest stars in the UFC. You were coming off that fight against Dominic Cruz. You were you're still young, but you were even younger back then. I mean, like, undefeated, everything was going towards this point where you were just going to get a star. And then obviously that fight went the way it did, and then the rematch, and then the news comes out of what happens with TJ. And I wonder myself, like, do you think about that much? Like, do you think about, like, what was he doing at that time? If I had put him down in the first round of that fight, and whether or not he was on something, or whether he was on something, does he get up? Like, or is that a first round knockout, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm still a superstar? Like, do you think about those types of things?
No, I don't dwell on the past, man. Like, it plays in my mind. Like, I know what TJ was doing, what he was on. That's why I asked for more invasive testing. USADA's, they come here, you piss in a cup every couple weeks, maybe, and that's it. Like, let's do more. Let's do it outside. That's all I asked for, because I knew what TJ was on. I knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like, we knew what he was on with the Cruz fight. You know what I mean? We had the same coach. He was still on the shit then. Cruz came off the couch and whooped his ass. You know what I mean? I just went overconfident into the fight because of what I was able to do. I was just, you know what I mean? Like, I just never saw TJ as a threat. And, but at the end, I was out for a whole year and not training from a back injury, and then it was rushed into a fight, which I needed the fight. You know what I mean? Like, had a kid on the way, needed the money. You know what I mean? Money is never a motivating factor for me. But when you have a child to feed and a family to take care of, like, shit, I can eat good for a little bit of, a little bit of money, but when you got to put food on the table for your family, your wife, like, you got to start thinking those things. And especially with the injury, like, I was out for nearly a whole year and got right back into, ready to defend the world title against a guy that's, no slouch, but he's also on some extra. So I already knew what I was getting into. I already knew what it was about. Still was ready. I just said, let's do some more invasive testing. And then when that came out about him getting popped, I was just like, not surprised. Like, I'm truly not. I'm just happy. I'm just not happy. I feel bad because, a lot of people look up to you when you're a world champion, when you're a fighter at that kind of caliber and you're doing that kind of thing. And it's like, this is what I have to take this kind of supplement to be like that, to perform like that. I just felt, obviously pissed, you get a little emotional about some of it, but then I was like, man, I kind of like felt for TJ in a way. And it was weird, but I kind of felt for him. And I was like, damn, because he's got a son, you know what I mean? He's got a kid. Like, your kids follow your example, what example you set. So you're known as a cheater. You're known as taking illegal substance. His kid's young, you know what I mean? And, he has time to redeem himself. That's good about our life and being able to get forgiveness. But, I kind of was like, everyone's like, probably excited or happy, and a lot of people probably, but I was more surprised it didn't catch him sooner. And then it set in because I was like, damn, he's got a kid. He's got, these people that look up to him. So I remember being the world champion, you know what I mean? And how many people came out and was like, oh, you inspire me so much. And I would hate for that to ever, I would never put myself in that position, but to take anything illegal, I think that's a coward. That's lack of self-confidence. And I'm not the most confident person, but I feel like I'm pretty confident, especially inside of fighting. That's what I was blessed with and was good at. I had to be, I fought my whole life. But so it was just like, I kind of just felt for him, his family, his son, just people that looked up to him, but he's got time in his life. He's still, he's got a 2-year suspension. He's up, 2000 next year he can fight. So he can probably redeem himself, but there's always going to be that, tarnished legacy of, yeah, you were this and that, but you also tested positive for a controlled substance. Not even, dude, EPL. That's like the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about levels. Like, that's some real deal shit. Have unlimited cardio. Give me unlimited cardio. You know what I mean? You're not going to make it. And he's a good fighter. His lack of confidence and self-confidence in it, that be able to have to take that, be aided by some kind of supplement like that, he won't be the same fighter coming back. And like I said, I don't really want to focus on him too much or to talk about him too much. It just, we haven't spoke and quite some time. I haven't done any interviews. So I have no ill will or towards TJ. Kind of feel bad for him, like I said, just about, all that stuff, people looking up to him and taking that. And this is kind of like some sport, like it needs to be, taken away from him. It needs to be, it's hard because there's always going to be someone that finds a way around it. There's always going to be a doctor out there that's going to, you can always bribe them with this or that to get to get at this, to pass the test. But yeah, other than that, I mean, like that, the whole TJ situation saga, like it's so far behind me. I think I held on that too long, played too much a role in a lot of my performance with TJ, and it cost me. You can say this and that, but ultimately it was me and my decision making in there, and not my focus that I had on, and anger and just build for that. So I think I learned a lot from that. You know what I mean? A lot from that fight, and still even in the Pedro fight, the same. So that's why I took a step back and what I was doing and how I was training, and I think that I needed Coach Mark. You know what I mean? Really, we have really worked a lot of time, energy, on working on just becoming a better athlete. You know what I mean? Better athlete, a better fighter, a more technical fighter. I don't need a loop punch. I don't need this. I don't need to. I love that. Sometimes you get just like in a good old fashioned knuckle fight, but I can dissect people technically and take them out, and so I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to get back in there and just showcase a lot of my skills, hard work. The past is behind me, and I've honestly, I honestly just wake up every day. I'm like, wow, this is a new day. I got, air in my lungs and I get, blood in my heart. And that's all I need. Just go out, put the work in, and it'll pay off. You're a product of your work ethic. You know what I mean? You're a product of your grind. Like how hard you're grinding is going to be a product of what you're able to achieve in life, what you're able to do in this sport. Like for us, it's obviously the harder you work, technically, is going to push you further, but smart work, I mean? Not just going in there and you're training with the purpose. So just kind of like stepping back, like how am I training? Like my body's kind of getting run down, doing this, doing that, maybe overtraining, maybe, but just sometimes you got to throw caution to the wind. Our sport's so new with everything. We have to be good at boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff, cardio, conditioning. It's just such a different, like boxing cardio is different than wrestling cardio. Grappling cardio is different than, then you throw kickboxing in there and then mix it all together. We are like the ultimate athletes. I honestly think that's the ultimate athlete, cardio, conditioning wise, to be able to fight for 25 minutes at that kind of pace of worrying about someone elbowing you, kneeing you, kicking you, wrestling you, trying to break your arm, choke you out. Like I truly believe we're the ultimate gladiators. Like I think there's not many athletes in the world that are physically fit, and all of the anaerobic aerobic systems that we have to train our bodies differently to be able to peak on fight week. So it's still new. We're still trying to figure out what's overtraining, what's not overtraining. So I feel like I got it pretty well. I have amazing coaches, strength conditioning coaches, from in Jersey and Sacramento. So we're all kind of just in that. We all share each other's ideas or how my progress is back and forth. So it's great, man. I'm thankful for the both gyms and just where I'm at in life as far as where I'm heading. I feel like I'm on the right path, and these things pop up and happen. So I'm just taking everything with just to get better, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. Mixed martial arts is a combination of like several different sports, right? So and that's what's cool about this sport, is that it's constantly evolving and people are coming up with new things, and it's changing every day, and you got to keep up with it. I think that's one thing that people enjoy about this sport. One more thing before I let you go, and I got to be honest. The reason I'm asking you this is because I see it. Like anytime there's something about Cody Garbrandt written, or there's social media, or you even make a post, I see this, and I want to know that if it A, bothers you, or if B, you think there's any truth to it, and that is that people are saying that your ability to take a punch is not what it used to be. That they're like, oh, Cody's chin is gone. And one thing that we know about this sport is that you can have all the skills in the world, but yeah, there has been examples, of guys who as they get older in their career, their ability to take a punch goes. Is that something you are at all concerned about? What do you think about when you see any of these?
Not at all. I mean, I was knocked out as an amateur. You know what I mean? I haven't been knocked out since it was 6 years later when TJ knocked me out. So I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? It caught cold on the chin. Good shot. My thing is, I'm young, 28. And I'm not taking too much damage in sparring. I know that. I'm going there. I can fight smarter. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, it's a product of in there of me not fighting smart when I get inside the octagon. But that's also what I was. I was just training hard. Now it's a different aspect. I'm 28. I don't have. I don't get banged up in training too much. I mean, we go hard, but I'm not fearful of, I don't have a chin. Chin's going to get tested. You know what I mean? Like I'll go in there and fight no matter what. You know what I mean? If I don't have a chin or not, but I'm not worried about that. I feel like very confident. Going in there, and taking a good shot, and moving on, and just you'll see me and Coach Mark have worked on defense. I'm just excited. That's another thing too. Like, people can say what they want to say, but I know the true me. You know what I mean? I've been soul searching since I won the title, trying to, adapt as a new world champion, losing the title, coming from here to there, so it's about, life's about balance, and never too high and never too low. I'm just trying to find that balance of, good times will come and bad times will come, and just keeping that balance through that. And, I never really look into like what people say. Everyone can get on the internet and talk tough over a keyboard and this. I know my true fans, and if it were time to hang it up and if I didn't have a chin, then I would walk away. I would walk away from sport, be able to speak to my kids and grandkids, and not be punched. I can see some of these fighters that stay in so long, and it's like, dude, why? For what, the chump change that you're making, and then to just get beaten around on, have your body broken. Then when fighting's done, you gotta go get a regular, you gotta go. What are you gonna do? This is been my life since I first had my first fight. I've done other just kind of like to make money for gas and pay the gym fee, but it was all towards, it was all thrown into the bucket of becoming the best martial artist that I can. And for me, it's just about fighting smarter, and I'm not worried about going in there and someone knocking me out. I'm fast and strong. Like, they gotta be more. That's their thing. Like, I'm gonna knock them out. They gotta be more with it than I've already won the fight. They think they're just gonna go in there and knock me out. Then I already won the fight. That's how I feel. It's like, oh, again, like I let those guys do that. I let TJ do that. I let Pedro do that. I fought in those kind of fights to be able to be acceptable to getting knocked out. The way that I know how to fight and I should fight, the clear mind, a clear heart, and a goal and a vision. I have those back now. I never had. You saw that in 2016. We used to have words, write things out. Just getting back to those little things that I got away from because I was solely focused on just getting healthy. First TJ fight, just get healthy, get to the fight. Next fight, stay healthy, get to the fight. Pedro fight, felt like great. Started finally feeling my rhythm in there, and then we got into that, slugfest, which I, invited him to. That was closing his eyes and throwing. I can't even watch the fight. I was so pathetic of a performance that I let Pedro do that to me, let TJ do that to me. And it's like, damn, like, yeah, I know I'm better than that. That's why it's hard to watch that. Like, I'm okay with losing.
Yeah.
Not in that way. That was pathetic. Just to go in there and to give them the fights, and that's the one thing, man. Just get in there. Just excited to pick these guys apart, like I did. I'm excited. I'm back on that vision quest, and I'm just grateful. I've always had to learn the hard way in my life for whatever reason. God's always tested me this kind of way, and things that I probably brought to myself as well. So it's just all about learning curve. I'm 28, like I'm still learning and growing in the sport as well, and getting my style down, and just I'm not worried about it, Brett. I'm really not.
Yeah.
I tell my wife and what people that are close to me if I start being a fucking weirdo, you know what I mean, with head trauma and stuff, like tell me, like I'll, like I'm a fighter. I'm always gonna fight. What else am I gonna do? But I have no worries. Like it feels great in sparring. Sparring some of the best guys in the world. And it's just I feel great, man. I really do. Like there's no worries. I do a lot of neck strengthening, things like that. But like I said, I've vetted myself to get on those fights. So that's a product of me being a dumbass in there and just So that's what it is. I'm not worried about it. I'm just excited to get back in there. I've been working hard, training, eating, sleep, just recovery. I mean, just everything, man, down to the nitty gritty. I'm all in, 100% in. And that's how you have to be in the sport. If you're 1 foot out, you can't go through this. You can't just go through the motions. You got to be all in because everybody is trying to become a better fighter, become the world champion, to make the money, to become. A lot of them are self-driven for the fame, the notoriety, all this, you know what I mean? But that'll surpass that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in it because I want to be the best. Okay, all that came, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now the money, I want to be able to take away, walk away from. Now I'm looking at it as like, I want to take care of my family for years to come. So now it's about the money. It was never about the money, but now it's about going in, becoming the best again, and getting the money, getting the endorsements, getting the title. That's when you have the keys. You have the keys to the world, with whatever you want to do. You got the mic, you can call who you want, call your shots. That's why Henry's calling out these guys that are losing, because he wants those fights. You know what I mean? That's what when you got the belt, you got the belt. You can do what the hell you want, So I'm just excited, more motivated, determined. Not even motivated. Motivation comes and goes. You know what I mean? Like, you're motivated one day, the next day motivation might be down. I'm driven. I'm in the driver's seat. So pedal to the metal. I'm ready to get it.
Yeah. Well, it's fun talking to you right now, man. Especially, like I said, we talked a couple weeks ago, and it just, I mean, nothing that, I mean, when you were fighting TJ and Pedro, it's not like it was bad, but it just felt like, you were going through the injury. You were going through the injuries. You had lost your head coach at the time, and it just seemed like you were making the best of it. But now it's like you have an actual system in place, so it's fun hearing about it, man. And like I said earlier, I know a lot of us are really looking forward to seeing what that looks like again. Now that you've gotten yourself in a better place.
Yeah, and you nailed it right on the head right there with that. All these things kind of go into. You don't make these excuses. You kind of just, like you said, you make the best of it. And I've always had my entire life. I've had less before and made the most of it. So it's like, I've been here so many times in my life, and I've climbed back. It's just keeps you on your toes, keeps you humble, keeps you driven to get back to there. And I blazed a pass up the mountain, and now it's just another trail I got to blaze to get up there. And I'm excited to do. Like I said, I just cannot wait. I'm just praying for the world, praying for everyone that's affected by this virus, and the companies and the small business and the large business, everybody, everyone's hurt in the time of the year. I think we just need to have faith over fear and stay positive, be positive. I would like to give a shout out to Gorilla Wear, some of the best training equipment, gloves, workout gear in the world. Thank you for sticking beside me, through the wins and losses, the good times, the bad times, still giving me, being able to pay me through this, what's going on. Pure Kana has been amazing recovery tool for me. I've been with them right before the Pedro fight, and my body's been holding up to all that. So CBD recovery, and also, man, I would definitely say Trifecta delivery, organic meals. Like I'm saying, I walk around like a lot of these guys get fat and out of shape, but I got Trifecta that's still shipping them to me. I'm able to feed a lot of people around me, a lot of friends, family, with this food. So I'm very thankful for the sponsors that keep me going, supporting me, and they're great companies to work with. Brett, thank you so much for taking this time. I was excited to talk to you. My heart's going. I want to go work out, so I'm getting more motivated to not want to do these things because my heart wasn't into fighting. I didn't want to. My wife wanted to watch. She's the UFC, loves UFC, loves the fights. She's like, let's watch UFC fights. Not really. I don't want to. I just now I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the UFC fights on.
Yeah.
Back the hunger is back. The focus is back. The love is back, and that's one thing you gotta. You got one life. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta love what you do. Wake up every day with the purpose to get better and do what you want to do.
Dude, I always enjoy talking to you, man. Go enjoy the family. I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're feeling better.
All right, I got a wrestling match waiting for me, so I got to go get him.
Yep, we'll see you in the octagon soon.
Take care, buddy.
Take care, Cody.